Good evening, everyone. This is Dennis Franks, Executive Vice President of Market America, and I am so fired up. I am into 2020 full speed ahead, and this year, the theme that I want to push is I want to push building wealth. And, you know, it's all about multiple things that have to be accomplished to ultimately get to that level of achieving that financial success that we all look for. And you know what? Achieving wealth in your career really starts with learning how to eliminate debt, getting debt under control, and taking the time to really understand what are those fixed costs that you have to pay down to really put yourself in a position to get ahead. But another thing that you have to remember is you have to earn and then save more of the dollars that you earn. And you know, that's a big theme about tonight, because so many of us miss out on many of the tax deductions that we are privileged to have in this great country as being independent contractors and business owners, in addition to working traditional jobs for that cash flow as we build wealth. But you know what? It's also learning how to build residual income. And everything we do through our UnFranchise business is creating that environment to create wealth and residual income. And, you know, it's very important for you to understand that literally, as I look back over the last 38 years in the networking industry and the last 28 years as an UnFranchise owner, there has been tremendous advantages of being able to track the expenses of building this business on a part-time basis. One other thing I want you to know: when you're building wealth in your life, you also have to think about your health. So many of us, you know, it's so easy. We're one accident away sometimes of going bankrupt, and we've got to think about being proactive and being healthy and our wellness. And all of these things we want to pay attention to as we grow to our goals, and we ultimately want to create that environment of financial success. But here is a key component that I am privileged to introduce to you tonight that is part of the benefit package of having your UnFranchise management system. It's something far advanced than just tracking your business. One of the benefits that I'm loving is the new Hurdlr. Now, you may have known it in the past as the Deductor. Well, now a better company and the next generation of tax benefits and education to help us be even more efficient in saving more of the dollars we earn. We are very fortunate tonight to have what I would consider a superhero. The only thing she doesn't have is a cape to fly in on tonight, but she is the Director of Customer Success. So that's not about customer service. It's about your success in being able to keep more of the dollars you earn and maximize the allowed deductibles as you build your business. Her name is Ashley Rockwell. She's out of the Philadelphia area. She's absolutely fabulous. Ashley, I want to turn this over to you because I'm excited, and I know the hundreds of people that are on tonight are looking forward to hear what you have to share. Folks, get into this. I'm into this. I'm already on track. I'm 7 days in to taking care of my taxes for the 2020 campaign. Ashley, how are you doing?
Hey, Dennis, I'm doing great. Thank you guys all for joining us tonight. Really excited to start off the tax year with you. Get you started on Hurdlr to help you start saving some time and money on tracking all of your business deductions and taxes. So I thought first I would just jump in with a quick overview of Hurdlr. So one thing we like to say is that Hurdlr is like a Fitbit for franchise owners' financial goals, because it really helps you track all of your finances. It tracks your income, your expenses, your mileage, and it helps you maximize your profits and lower your tax obligations. And it also really helps make sure that you never miss any of your potential deductions, because there's a ton of deductions out there, like Dennis was saying, that you can really capture as an unfranchised owner. So today we're really going to cover a ton of information, just kind of getting started and all those features that you can take advantage of with Hurdlr. So I don't expect you to remember it all. So if you have any questions as I'm going through everything, please feel free to use the questions section. Just shoot your questions in, and I'll definitely get to them either throughout the presentation or at the end. And then I also want to highlight that we also have an in-app chat feature for the app. So there's a little chat bubble in the app itself. As you tap on that, you can shoot us any questions you have. It comes right into our office, which is based in DC. I work remotely from Philly, as Dennis mentioned, but all of our other staff members are in DC, and during our normal office hours, they're able to answer your questions within just a few minutes. We also have a CPA in our staff who can help answer some of your more tax-related questions as well. So really able to kind of help you maximize all of your deductions there and make sure that you're getting the most out of everything. So first thing I wanted to go through was how you actually get Hurdlr and how to get access to it. So what you're going to do is log into your UnFranchise.com account, and then you're going to go to the tax savings section in the Business Center. And in the top right-hand corner, when you log in, and if you're accessing it for the first time, you'll actually see something that says to get started. And if you're accessing it again after accessing it before, it will show up like here where it says Tax Assistant. So you just go through there to get set up for the first time. That way you get your free premium account. If you just go through Hurdlr itself to set it up, it won't be through your Market America account that will try to charge you for it. So really make sure you're going through your back office just to ensure you're getting that free benefit that they're providing to you. So the next thing I want to go over was how you get started once you log in through your back office. So I'm going to start from an email invite I have. But like I said, you're just going to click on it through your back office and it'll take you right into the app. If you're doing this on your phone, it's going to take you into the app itself. And if you're doing this on your computer, it will take you into the web app. So Dennis, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, but it's still sort of talking. It's thinking. Nothing's coming up right now.
Okay, perfect. Let me just make sure it's loading.
There you go. New
there we
user.
go. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure I was on there before I kept going.
No problem.
All right. So the first thing you're going to do when you log in for the first time is create your new password. So I'm just going to create a password for this account. And there we go. So across the top of it, your home screen here, you're going to have all of the different overviews. So right now, since I don't have any data in this account, nothing's going to show up. If I hover over it, it gives you a little sample of what it will look like. This is kind of where you see your pulse of what's going on with everything in your business. So there's a few different things that you're going to do when you log in for the first time. And in the mobile app itself, there'll also be some little tiles across the top of it to kind of walk you through how to do everything. So the first thing we're going to go through and do is our tax setup. So this gear icon in the top right corner, it's going to be kind of all your different settings. In the mobile app, it's going to be 3 dots in the top left corner, but both the mobile app and the web app on your computer have all the same features, so you can do it either way and use them interchangeably. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to my tax profile here. I want to cooperate right now.
Technology.
I know, right? Technology at its finest. Okay, let me move over to the mobile app instead. Just a second, I'll pull that up for you guys.
Okay, come on.
Sorry, just a second. And now it's doesn't want to load when you want it to, right? All right.
You betcha. Been there before. I think it's a great thing to talk about while you're waiting for that to come up also, is that as you get organized in setting up the Hurdlr, it really helps you understand how all the different components come together to provide you this maximum return. And the amount of time saved is just amazing. I'm so excited because I just got to use it half a year last year. It helped tremendously. So I'm excited for a full year this year.
Yeah, definitely. And later on, I'm also going to kind of go over how the tax stuff works. You can actually file your taxes through Hurdlr as well, which can save you even more time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys, just taking an extra minute.
I think we've all who are working online have experienced this kind of result. Success.
All right, here we go. Can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I got to step on the web app again. Okay, so like I was saying, at the top here, it's going to take you through all the different actions that you need to do to set up the app. So the first thing we're going to do is set up our tax calculation. So I'll click on the Set Up Now button, and it will ask me which state I live in for your state taxes. And then the filing status for your state, and then your filing status for federal. And then we'll also ask you a full-time job. So if you also have a full-time job where you have a W-2 and the taxes are taken out of your income, you can hit the yes button and then enter in your salary. And that way it will more accurately estimate the taxes on your self-employed income as well. So that's a great feature. That way you're really getting a whole picture of your taxes. And then there's just a little disclaimer saying that these are estimates, so they're only as accurate as the data you're tracking. But most of our users find that the tax estimates that Hurdlr provides are pretty accurate and pretty close to what they end up owing. So it is a great tool. Cool, now we have that first step set up. The next thing we have is enabling automatic reports. So we recommend doing this with this feature at the end of each month. It will send you an auto report with all of your data from the app. So that way you don't even have to think about going in and exporting it. It will just send it to you automatically, so you have that snapshot of where you're at currently. You can also export reports at any time if you need to. So it's definitely easy to do that as well. The next thing we have is to pick an income tracking method. So we recommend automatically tracking your income. With that, you can link your bank and your credit cards and track everything automatically. It will all just pull right in for you. That saves you a ton of money because you don't even have to think about going in and entering them. It pulls everything in, and that way you're also making sure that you're not missing any deductions because everything's right there for you. So let me show you how to do that. It's quick and easy. Let me just make sure that my account is set up for that. And since you guys are getting Hurdlr Premium through Market America, it's great because you do have access to all of these features. Typically, there's a cost for these, so it's really a great savings. Right. So now I'm going to click on that, and it's going to have me link my account. So here, these are the most common places you receive income from, so some of the most popular banks. We also have integrations for Stripe, Shopify, PayPal, to use those for income. So I'm just going to go ahead and find my bank. And it's really simple. You just enter your credentials in, and it is really secure. I know we get questions about this, if it's secure because you're entering your credentials. but they're actually not shared or stored by Hurdlr. What you're doing is you're actually logging in directly to your bank, and then your bank is granting an access token to Hurdlr just to get your read-only data. So that just means that the transactions themselves will pull in, but we don't have any of your login information, any of your account numbers, nothing like that. So it is very secure, which is really good. We wouldn't want to have to deal with any sensitive information like that, since there can definitely be issues. So definitely nothing to be concerned about there, since we're not storing any of that data for you. So I just enter my credentials in. It reads them. If you have any sort of security features like text message to log in or email codes, it will go through those steps as well. And so here you see you have to do the text code. So let me get that text code.
It does take time getting set up, but it's well worth it. I can assure every one of you that are on tonight, it's very, very important that you take the time to do this once, and it goes the distance.
Yeah, it definitely does. And usually it's a little smoother than this. I'm not sure why my computer decided to freak out tonight, but it's usually pretty quick and easy. So see, looking at your bank just takes a couple seconds. So once that happens, it will show you the list of accounts that you have and ask you which ones you want to link for income. So for example, here I have 2 different bank accounts. So I'm going to link both of those for income. So I'll hit link account. And then it's going to ask me if I also get expenses for those accounts. So in my case, I do. So I'll hit yes. And then again, it asks me which of my accounts I want to link. So I'll go ahead and link both again. And now you'll see I have some income in. So since right now we're in 2020, the rest of my transactions that automatically pulled in are in the 2019 view. But as you can see, they kind of all pull in, and then all I need to do is go through and hit if they're business or personal. I can hit personal, business, and there's even this speed tagging feature where you can actually select all, or select 2 or 3, and tag them as business or personal in bulk. So it's a great feature. It also works the same way for expenses. So you see my expenses pulled in now. So I kind of just go through and tag if they're business or personal. There's also the category that they go to. So based on our aggregated data, Hurdlr predicts what the category will be. So this is a Verizon bill, so it's predicting it's a mobile device payment, which it is, but it kind of predicts which category it is. But you can also go in and select any category it might be. So there's different ones under advertising, different ones under meals and expenses and entertainment. So you can always find a category to fall in, and then you can also enter your own custom categories as well if you're not finding one that fits it. So the next part is mileage tracking. So with this, you can't really do the mileage tracking itself on the computer app, since there's no GPS on your computer to use while you're driving. But within the web app, you can actually still enter your mileage manually by clicking on this and then entering in your details. So I could say I'm going from home to my office, and enter the distance of my drive, tag it as business or personal, and which business it's to, and then save it, and it'll be listed there. So it's cool because it shows you the distance you drove, and then also shows you the deduction amount here. And then we'll show you that overview there. So just like I added a trip manually here, you can also manually add income and expenses too. So like, let's say I have cash expenses, I can add those by clicking the add expense button and then manually entering in the form. So choosing who I purchased it from, how much it costs, which category it is, etc. So there's really a lot you can do with this here. And then we're going to go back to the home screen. And once I start having data, you'll start seeing all these things kind of fill in. And once I start getting more income, it will also be estimating my taxes. So let me just add in some income here. Add in, $4,500. And then I'll tag a couple of these expenses as business. So once I start tagging those, it's going to show up here. And just like we used our tax profile earlier, now we can go back to that taxes page. And it's actually going to show us how the taxes are being calculated. If I expand this net income, it's going to show me my income here, and then it's subtracting all those deductible expenses. So my expenses, my mileage, the self-employment deduction, and then it will show me how my federal taxes and my state taxes and my self-employment taxes are all being calculated. So I can really see that in real time. The other cool thing with the taxes page is it actually shows your quarterly tax breakdown as well. So if you make over a certain amount, you're typically required to make quarterly tax payments. So this will help you by showing you exactly how much you should be making for those payments. That way you're making sure you're paying them on time and that you're not getting penalized in any way by keeping up with those. It also helps too, because then when you do owe taxes on your income, you're not scrambling at the end of the year to make a big payment because you weren't keeping the money aside ahead of time. So it's kind of a great tool there. I also want to go back and hit on the mileage because there are a couple different ways that you can track your mileage in Hurdlr. So as I showed you, you can track it manually by entering the trips. So it's not really the fastest way. That's a great way if you had tracked mileage before using Hurdlr. If you want to enter it in, we do recommend entering it manually like that. But typically, you'll just want to use the built-in mileage tracker in Hurdlr. So I'm going to try to get that up on my phone right now, but I can talk you through those different options. There's two main ones. So the first is fully automatic, which is the kind that we recommend you guys do. With that, you're able to track all of your mileage automatically. So it tracks all of your trips. And then when it pulls it in, it just asks you to tag it as business or personal. So let me log into an account that has a little bit more data just to show you a little bit what that looks like. And again, if you're having any questions as we're going through this, please feel free to chat those in the question section, and we'll definitely have time for questions at the end as well. Okay, so here I have some trips in this account. So from 2019, have to finish classifying. But similar to how we had for the income and expenses, it asks you if you want to tag them as business or personal. So you can just go through and tag which ones are business and which business they're to if you're tracking multiple businesses. Again, you can also do that speed tagging I mentioned where you select all or select multiple ones to tag. And then along the top, it's going to show you that overview. All right. Any questions at this point? All right. So I have a couple here. I think I'll start answering a couple of those.
Hey, Ashley, this is Janet. I've got a couple texts. Can you speak a little slower?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, good. You're one of those northeastern fast talkers.
Yes, so definitely. Yeah, let me expand these questions so I can see some of these. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so I have a question about how secure Hurdlr is linking your bank. So I mentioned that earlier, and like I said, it's really secure. We use 256-bit encrypted data, and you're also not actually sharing any of your credentials with Hurdlr. You're just linking directly through your bank, and we're just getting read-only data of those transactions. So we don't have any of your account numbers or your login credentials. It's just really that read-only transaction data. So it's very secure. Let's see. And the presentation is being recorded, so afterwards, you guys can definitely watch it on the YouTube channel as well. I see there's a question about that. Now I have a question. I was on Deductor and it looks like it's just updated. I don't need to go back to UnFranchise to start again, do I? So if you're using Deductor previously, you were actually converted over to Hurdlr. So if you can't find that email that we sent you when we did that conversion, I would recommend reaching out to us via that chat feature I mentioned, and that way we can make sure that you get all set up.
What is the, how do they reach out to you? Is there a number that's on the back office for customer service?
So it's actually all in-app chat and email. So in the web app here, there's this question mark in the top right corner. So if you click that, you can just send a message into our team and say, hey.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And then in the mobile app, it's similar. It's a little chat bubble in the top left corner. So we're able to answer questions pretty quickly there. Our normal business hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday. So if you message us within those times, you usually get a message back within a couple minutes. Anything outside that time, we'll respond to as soon as we get back to the office. So I have another question here. Can you have and download the Hurdlr app on your computer and your smartphone? So yes, you can definitely do both of those. Right now I'm presenting on the web app, but the mobile app is interchangeable with it. So you can definitely use both at the same time, and they do sync up automatically to each other. So everything will be updated in both of them for you. And can just kind of go back and forth. I know some things are easier to use on your phone and some are easier to use on your computer. So definitely able to use both of those at the same time. So I have another question. What if you have two companies and a spouse? Can you share the app? You can definitely do that. Hurdlr actually allows you to track as many businesses as you want. So let me show you how to set up different businesses. What we're going to do is hit this gear icon in the top right corner. And then you go to businesses. And then there's this add button. So you'll see here I have a couple different businesses listed. And then you can also add other ones if you want to. So you'll just enter the business name and then enter the type that it best falls into, depending on what company is. And then just hit the save button and it'll add the other business for you. And then that way, when you're tagging things like I was doing earlier, when you tag something as business, it will ask you which business it's associated with. And then as far as using it with yourself, you guys will both just log in to the same account, so the same email address and password, and you'll both be able to track your mileage on your respective phones and then tag everything together, and it will all show up in sync between your different devices. Let's see, a couple of the same questions. Let's see, can I have multiple bank accounts linked into this? So yes, you can definitely have multiple bank accounts. Like I was showing, if you have multiple bank accounts under the same credentials, you can link or not link the ones that you want to. And then you can also link as many different banks as you want to. So like I was showing earlier, we have a whole ton of banks we support. I think it's about 10,000 banks now. So when you're adding a bank, all you do is hit the search banks button here, and you can type in the name of your bank, and it will come up. So there's tons of banks, credit cards, credit unions that we support linking with. And if you don't see a bank or a credit union that you bank with, you don't see it listed and can't find it, definitely just reach out to us, and we can check to see if we do support it. And if we don't currently support it, we can at least put in a request to our partner aggregator to see if it can be supported in the future. So don't hesitate to reach out about that. Can you run reports on individual bank accounts? So we don't currently have a way to run reports per individual bank account. It's all kind of grouped together per business or per client, but you can definitely divide it up in some different ways. You can also export it within spreadsheets. So when you have it in a spreadsheet, you can really kind of slice and dice it the way you want to. Let's see. Does Hurdlr also work for Canadian and franchise owners? So it does. Right now, Hurdlr is available in both Canada and the US. So for Canadian users, it's going to estimate your provincial taxes, and it also estimates your GST and your HST for you. So that's kind of a difference you would see there in your taxes section. But yeah, it works in both Canada and the US. And then obviously in Canada, it will track the distance in kilometers. The next question I have is, do you have to start in the back office when you use the app? And where do you find the app? So you do have to start through your back office if you want to get that Hurdlr Premium for free. So you just go to the back office, the tax savings section in your business center. And from there, you're able to access it for the first time. After doing that, though, you can just access it directly through our website or directly through the mobile app. And the mobile app you just download from the App Store. So if you're on an iPhone, that's the Apple App Store, and if you're on an Android phone, that's the Google Play Store. All right. Is Market America considered e-commerce? I mean, I think it could definitely fit into that. I'm not sure what the default it defaults to. It might be sales, but you can really customize that. It doesn't really matter as much what the business is set up as. The only real difference is if you have a real estate business, you'll see over on the left side of my screen, there's a listings and buyers section. But other than that, for realtors, most of the other business types all have pretty much the same setup. You're able to track clients, and then all the other core functions of the app are the same. Are we able to put last year's data into Hurdlr, and would it make sense? That's a great question. You can definitely do that. We have a ton of people who start their 2019 data now. So you'll probably be able to pull up at least some of your banking information back. Some banks limit how far they share data with third parties. Typically 3 months is the norm, but there are definitely banks that share further back, so you might be able to pull the data into January 1st as well. But if not, you can definitely still manually enter data, and that way everything's in one place. And I'll get to this in a little bit, but there's actually an option to file your taxes through Hurdlr. We partner with TaxSlayer, and that way it just pulls all of your data automatically into TaxSlayer for you. So if you go through and spend time entering it into Hurdlr, it's kind of nice because then it saves you time on the actual filing process if you use that integration. I have a question of how do you set up Hurdlr if your MA account is under both husband and wife, combined full-time income if both employed? So yes, I kind of touched on this earlier, but you can share it with your spouse. Again, you'll just both log in using the same credentials. And if you also both have W-2 jobs, or in Canada, like if you both have full-time jobs, in that tax settings section, like I mentioned earlier, that tax profile setup, where it asks for your where it asks about W-2, that's where you will put your combined W-2 income. So this screen here. So, let's say that you're making $40,000 and your husband's also making $40,000 in a W-2 job, you would put $80,000 in as a salary. And that way it's going to estimate the correct tax bracket for you. So I have another question. So you only link the credit card you use for your business. That's definitely up to you. We do have lots of people who use Hurdlr to track their personal income and expenses as well, because each time a transaction or a mileage entry comes in, you're able to save a business or personal. So if I want to go through and track my personal stuff as well, I can definitely do that. So I'm going to pull up some of my older expenses here. So let's say this gas expense here is personal. I can actually track all my personal gas expenses. And that way at the end of the year, if I want to look back and see what I spent on groceries or what I spent on rent, I can see all of those transactions. So, and it's really up to you, but we do have a lot of people who get a lot of usage out of doing that personal tracking as well. But if you're just planning to use Hurdlr to track your business expenses, you definitely can just track, connect your business accounts. So I think it kind of depends on how you're looking to use Hurdlr.
Hey, I have a question. I'm going to sort of bust in here and ask you,
Yeah.
Ashley. As an UnFranchise owner, we buy directly from UnFranchise.com, our inventory and for personal use. But we also sell product. We receive purchases on our TLS Slim site, our Isotonics site, our Motives Cosmetics site, and our shop.com site. How do those show up? Do they show up separately, that they were purchased from our weight loss or purchased from our beauty, or are they just the profit that comes in from Market America? Are they tracked at all? So
they're not tracked through Market America. We don't have an integration set up for that right now. So it would just be anything pulling in from linked bank accounts or credit cards. So the stuff that's going through those would pull in. But if it's not going through those, then you would want to enter it manually.
Yeah, it's interesting. We do a lot of sales online. Like, for instance, if you went into my back office, and I know many people that are listening tonight, you know, I have over $300 in profits from purchases of products that are registered, you know, on my UnFranchise. When I make an order, they show how much money is there that I can apply. So are you illustrating that anything that's purchased from isotonics.com or motivescosmetics.com is not tracked? Is that correct? Or not correct?
Yes. So I guess that's, if it's not going through a bank account or credit card that's linked to Hurdlr, it would not be tracked.
Okay, so it wouldn't show up as one of our sales. That's not, doesn't come in as an expensive, although it does come in as profit for us. So I guess if we transferred, I'm just talking out loud here.
Yeah.
Or the $300 of profit from retailing online to my account, then that would probably show as a transition from Market America to Dennis Frank's marketing service, I'm guessing.
Yes. So if you were transferring it into your bank account, then it would show up and pull into Hurdlr, right? Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So I get that. So if I'm applying the money to an order, it's not going to show up. And it's going to show me that I bought inventory. Let's just say I bought $500 worth of inventory, the $300 in profit against the 500. It's a net 200 payment. It's going to show 200 in actual cost of product goods, you know, for inventory. But if I swipe that $300 over and had Market America put it in my account, then it would show it as income, I would imagine.
Yes.
The logic seems to be there. Okay. Talk through that.
Yeah, no worries, of course. I'm sure a lot of other agents are all on the same boat too with that type of thing too. So it's a great question. Let's see what other questions I have. So I have some more questions about banks. So I have a question: is the text code each time you log in for linking your bank? So that's typically just when you link your bank for the first time, because it will stay linked and just kind of update and refresh on its own. There are times where your bank will want to revalidate your credentials. So when that happens, it will just show up as an error in the app and tell you that you need to relink your account. So you just click on that and it will have you revalidate it. So when you do revalidate it, it will ask you to kind of go through those security steps that you have set up as well. Another question about if you bank with a local community bank. So we do support nearly 10,000 banks, like I mentioned, but if you're not seeing it on our list, please reach out, and if we don't currently support it, we can definitely put in a request to support it in the future and keep you posted on that. But if it isn't currently supported, what you'll do is you'll manually enter your expenses and income. So like I was mentioning earlier, there's this manual button here, add expense button, and on the income page, add income. So you just click on those and fill out the form to manually enter an entry.
Can you, Ashley, if you could go back to when the expenses come in, could you show how you identify where you put the expense, which expenses are up there, and if you have to customize an expense, you know, that you could put in there for, I don't know, that's not part of it, if you could show that again. When the transaction comes in, it's business, and then you apply it to a certain category. Can you show how that works?
Yeah, of course. Let's see. Here's a Amazon purchase. So if I click on it and expand it, it opens up the entry. So this will give you a little more detail about it. So from here, I can click the business and pick which business it's associated with. Because like I mentioned earlier, you can have multiple businesses. So I'm going to pick my consulting business. And then I come over here and click the select category. And from there, I can pick which category it's for. So a lot of times it will show the popular categories it might be associated with. but I'm going to say that this is a promotional material. So I would select promotional material. And if I want to, I can even add a picture of the receipt. So if I click that button, it will ask me to upload a picture. And if I do that, I can actually save my receipts in there as well. And if I want to, I can also tag it to a specific client. So if I want to track, which clients I'm selling to and my expenses are going towards, I can track that as well. So I'm going to say no client for this particular one. And then I just save it. And once it's saved, it'll be saved as one of my business transactions. So they're all kind of listed here. And they'll have whichever category I selected on the right-hand side.
Emotional, yeah. Now, this is really important, team, when you look at this, because this gives you the ability to reference the client that you're working with. If you've never been audited, it digs pretty deep. So this is actually really wonderful that you can put that detail and have it electronically stored. It's awesome. There was a text message that came into me, Ashley. There is a company called iTransact that we work with. I don't know if Sarah has ever briefed you on that, but for some of our unfranchised owners, iTransact allows us to have merchant accounts. And when we receive an order on shop.com, for example, we have the ability to take the payment first before it goes to Market America. And so the iTransact payment comes to us. We in turn make the order to the client and Market America ships, but we get the money first, not Market America. If you could make a note, maybe we can discuss that, or maybe you already know the answer to that.
So we don't currently have a direct integration with that. I'm not sure what the future plans are for that, but I'll definitely make a note of that and talk to Sarah offline about that as well.
Right. The only thing I can say is to the unfranchised owner that asked that question, you're going to have record of the purchase on your back office. The thing that Hurdlr will provide you is the actual order of the product and where it was shipped. So it will not illustrate the profit. It will show the cost of goods. That's what's going to come back to you. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So I do see I have a question here about just kind of needing instructions written down. So I just want to show you guys quickly that we do also have a help center. So I don't know, can you see my screen right now, this page that I'm on?
Yes.
Perfect. So here we have video tutorials. There's some getting started FAQs, just our kind of general FAQs, and some other categories like reports, using the web app, Hurdlr for Canada, filing taxes, common tax questions. If you converted from Deductor, there's some Deductor specific questions. And you can even search for questions too. So if you're just kind of trying to quickly find an answer for yourself, you can always search these articles as well. So this link is just university.hurdlr.com, and you can come here at any time. And it also links to our chat feature as well that we have that goes into our office. So if you click the chat bubble here, you can also send us a chat message through there if you're not finding the answer to your question, or if you have additional questions on top of that.
Ashley,
so that was a good point to hit.
Can you also, what I was so impressed was the Hurdlr is intuitive. The more I work with it, the more it puts my expenses in the right place.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
Can you just tell everyone about that? Folks, this is so important for you to take the time to do this, because it'll help you when you're not doing it. But you
definitely.
If you could talk to that a bit.
Sure. So yeah, I think one of the first things I'll hit on as far as that is one of these new features that we have called Deduction Finder. So if you click the Scan Now button when you first sign up, it will actually scan all of the expenses that have pulled into your account and tell you which ones are likely to be deductible versus not likely. So it kind of just helps you really quickly at a glance figure out what could be deductible and what's probably not. So you can kind of quickly go through those, and it helps you do it really quickly as well. All of these very likely ones that kind of tells you which category they probably fall into and why they might be deductible. So, you know, mobile device, hotels, gas. So I can quickly just tag those as business or personal. So that's Deduction Finder. And then the other thing we have is we have different rules. So as you're going through and tagging things the same way, so let's say that, you know, this giant fuel expense, let's say that that's always a business expense for me. After I tag it as business a couple times, the app will actually suggest it as a rule to me. So when that happens, if I go ahead and accept the rule, then it will tag those transactions automatically for me moving forward. So, you know, anytime that I'll have that particular expense pull in, I'll get a pop-up in the app saying you had an expense that was tagged automatically. So it's kind of great because it really lets you put your finances on autopilot. So you're not really thinking too much about it. It's just kind of taking over for you. So we have that for expenses, for income, and for mileage. So just kind of as, you know, the same income, same expenses, and the same trips are being taken, it automates all of that for you. So again, it's saving you even more time because you don't have to think about it at all.
Nice. That's a great feature. Love that.
So going back to the questions over here, I see a question. So commission checks would be business income and other income would be personal income. So that's correct. So any of your Mark in America income would be considered business income, and anything that's not associated with that business would be personal. The reason that is because anything tagged as business is what Hurdlr is using to calculate your taxes on. So you really want to make sure that you're only tagging that self-employed income so that you're not, you know, estimating more taxes than you're actually going to owe, because you're only going to owe the taxes on that self-employed income. I'm not seeing all my transactions from my bank account. It's only showing January 3rd. So transactions in Hurdlr are listed from most recent to least recent. Within the mobile app on your phone, it's going to list all of them together, but in the web app view, you actually have to switch the date filter for which year it is. In the mobile app, you need to do that for all of your transactions that have been tagged already. But it's really important just make sure you're looking at the correct date range. Because if you're only looking at January, I'll only see a couple transactions that I've had when I still have all of this 2019 data as well on the app. Are you able to use Hurdlr if you're set up as an S corporation? So yes, you can use Hurdlr as an S corp, C corp, LLC, sole proprietorship. All of that works with Hurdlr, and you kind of track everything within the same way. The tax estimates are just a little bit different if you're a corporation. I have a regular job and I get paid for mileage. So if these auto trips that come up, do I say personal or business? So if you have a regular job and they're just reimbursing you for it, I recommend still tagging those as personal. But what you could do is you could actually add a note to them. You'll see here when I click on a trip, there's this note section here. So then what you can do is you can add a note that it's for your full-time job. And that way you're not going to mess up your tax estimate by tagging something business when it's not actually going to be deductible for you. But that way you can still get a report of all that data to give to your job so that you're making sure you have that detailed record for them.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So can two people with two cars use the same Hurdlr account? So yes, you can definitely do that. I think I mentioned this earlier as well. So just make sure you're logging into the same account, and it's actually going to track your mileage per phone. So you're able to both drive at the same time, and it will track those trips at the same time for you. Well, the automatic mileage tracker tracks work if you're traveling on mass transit. So if you are using the automatic mileage tracker where it's tracking all of your trips, then it will be tracking any trip that it detects. So that would include it if you're driving in someone else's car, if you're taking a bus or train. So in those instances, you'll just want to make sure that you delete those trips. To delete a trip, you just click on it, and then there's this delete button at the bottom. Because it's not really a personal trip or a business trip, since it's not within your personal vehicle, just want to delete those. That way you're not confused any about mileage. So someone asked about the app, if it's free, that they saw that it said $4.99 a month. So that, if you're seeing that it's asking you to pay for it, that means that you didn't go through your back office. So if you're having any issues with that, please just reach out to me, and I can definitely help get any questions answered about that. Because if you don't go through your back office, then it will try to charge you for it, since the app does typically have a cost for the premium version.
It is a great benefit to have the premium version that you get with your UFMS subscription. So again, this is a big item to help promote our new partners coming on as to why they want to be a part of our UFMS from the very beginning. So that's a big thing there. We have about 5 minutes before we have to close this session out. Ashley, I just wanted to give you a quick heads up.
Yep, yeah, I saw that too. Just trying to figure out some of these other questions to hit real quick. We do have a few duplicates. One question I just saw that is really important to hit on is, how long does Hurdlr keep the data? So Hurdlr will keep your data for as long as you have an account. So it doesn't even have to be a premium account. So let's say that you eventually leave Market America. Hurdlr will keep all of your data for you, and it could be exported at any time. So that way, if you are ever audited, you do have access to all of that data. So, if you're using Hurdlr 20 years from now, we'll still have your past 20 years of data, and you can export those reports. So real quick, let me just hit on how to actually view and export those reports. So along the left side here of the screen, you'll see the reports button. This will allow you to export and view all of your different reports. So some of the most popular reports are listed at the top. So you can actually view some of those within the app. So I wanted to look at my last year report of all my expenses. It lists them nicely for you in a PDF format, and you can print them out, download them. We also have the tax reports, which is the big thing you're using Hurdlr for. So if I go down to tax report on the report screen, we have the Schedule C report, which will actually fill out a Schedule C for you. I can show you what that looks like. So it's just an actual tax form with all of your data from Hurdlr already filled out. So it will tell you all of those different line item totals. So it's great because if you have an account, you can just print that out and give that to them. If you're doing your taxes yourself, that's really all of the things that you need to input into the Schedule C. I mean, you can even just print this out and attach this as part of your tax filing. So that's great. We love this. It's a newer report as of last year too. And the main report we have here is our tax details for tax filing. So this is a very detailed spreadsheet with all of your data from the app. So if you have an accountant or a tax preparer that you work with, you'll want to share this with them. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like for my 2019 for this account. Okay, I can download it. Of course, it's going to open an open office, which isn't the prettiest view, but typically you'll want to open it in Excel or Google Sheets, and it has everything organized really nicely for you. So the first tab will be your summary. It kind of has all that same information that the Schedule C has, where it has your totals for everything, for all your different tax categories and your mileage. It has a list of all your business income, and again, it kind of has all those full details. So like I was talking about earlier, you can tag to different clients. It shows you all that information. It separates your personal income as well, so the difference between what you're tagging as business versus what you're tagging as personal. We do get some questions about what this pending income list is. So this would be anything that you have not yet tagged. So that would all be listed there. Then it also goes into your business expense list, personal expense list, pending, and then your mileage as well. So your business and personal mileage, all listed there. So that's a great report for doing your taxes as well, because it has all of those details that you would need. This is also kind of that perfect thing if you were ever to get audited, because it has those full details that you would need. So I think I have time probably for a few more questions. Dennis, were there any questions on here you thought might be good to get to quickly before we have to wrap up?
No, I really just want everybody to know that the Hurdlr, the benefit that you get, you know, with it being on UFMS, it is the perfect partner for those people that are starting an unfranchised business. And by you using it, if you're listening today, take the time to use it, because in the recruiting process, the qualifying process, this is one way that people can assure that they can earn income quickly by taking careful, you know, tracking of the business startup. And I'm just thrilled with it, Ashley. I'm just can't wait as I continue to get better using this. I can see it's going to save so much time. I mean, hours, maybe days for me, but ultimately the amount of income that it's going to also let me keep from keeping track of all the deductions accurately is great. But excited.
Perfect. I think the last thing I just want to hit on real quick too before we wrap this up is just utilizing that chat feature. I know we had a ton of questions, and in the short hour we really didn't have enough time to get to all of them. So please make sure you're using that chat feature. We're always happy to help answer questions. Like I said, it's normal business hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time, Monday to Friday. So please feel free to reach out across this week as you're getting started with Hurdlr with any questions that you have. You can also email us at hello@hurdlr.com. So Hurdlr is Hurdlr. And the other thing that we want to mention as well is kind of the to-dos going forward. So there's actually a great Facebook group, which I will post the link to, if it works.
Yeah, I had a hard time getting that.
Yeah, let me pull it from my email real quick.
Hey, well, you know, Ashley, when we're doing, I got a couple more texts here also. Again, when you were rating the expenses, there is an opportunity for you to customize the expense, like an insurance payment or something like that, that comes out when you're going through the expense list.
Yes, there is. So you can customize different categories as well. So we have a ton of default ones, but you can add your own custom ones. So if I click on the gear icon in the top left corner, you'll see business categories and personal categories. And if you click on either one of those, there's this add button in the top, and you can add your own custom categories to be able to classify those even further to a specific category that you want.
Great, Roseanne. Okay, Roseanne, there you have it. Okay, and entering the receipt is taking a picture of it and then being able to put it into that area. John came through. They wanted to know. Basically, you're taking a picture of the receipt and then posting it in there. Mm-hmm.
Yep, exactly. I just posted that Facebook group there. So I know every week I'll be posting Hurdlr tips in there. They can ask questions. People can share what they're working on, and there'll be all the conversations in that group will be limited to Hurdlr. So it's really a great way to, get started, learn more, see what others are doing with Hurdlr, and really make sure that you're utilizing to its full potential as well.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Ashley, very much. We have to get started on the advanced Hurdlr. I'm going on the next webinar that's coming up starting in about a minute. So thank you, everyone, for being on. Thank you, Ashley. We appreciate you as the Director of Customer Success. We look forward to a long and very beneficial relationship with you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.